What's up, peeps? You know who I am by now. It is Games Matter. It is Anthony Walker. Yada yada yada. You know who I am by now. This is the Wrestling Matters podcast special, and I'm going to do Survivor Series. At least talk about Survivor Series and talk about the Undertaker as well. So, hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe during this beautiful pandemic. And yeah, we'll get right into it. Survivor Series 2020, which I must admit was a pretty bang average pay-per-view from my perspective, at least. Just an awful pay-per-view. I wouldn't say awful. I think that was pretty much, at least in my opinion, that was pretty much unfair to say, but average at best. It wasn't the greatest pay-per-view. It wasn't the best SummerSlam I've seen. Or Survivor Series, sorry, I've seen. SummerSlam, where did I get that from? It wasn't the best Survivor Series I've seen, but it wasn't the worst. It was average at best. Let me run through the match card. Let's just see. Kickoff show had an interpromotional battle royal, which I didn't care about, quite frankly. And then it kicked off with AJ, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, Keith Lee, and Matt Riddle, or Riddle as he's now known. Good one, WWE. Taking on Team SmackDown, which was Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Otis, and King Corbin. And it pretty much got down to 5-on-1 because Team Raw beat the hell out of SmackDown in that match. And Jey Uso was the last one in. He lost. He had to go back and face the wrath of Roman Reigns. And Roman pretty much told him to go home, get out of his sight, blah, blah, blah. It was alright. To be honest with you, in that match, I didn't think highly of the SmackDown team. Raw team, not bad. It was a good team for what they could get. SmackDown team, no. There were three main players out of that team, and that was Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Jey Uso. Otis, former Money in the Bank winner, horrible booking on that, by the way. And don't get me started on King Corbin. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. But yeah, it wasn't the worst team match. We'll get to the worst one later on, which was Team Raw's women's versus Team SmackDown's women's. As a matter of fact, we'll get to that right now because I literally could not believe what I saw in that match. I literally wholeheartedly could not believe what I saw in the match. And it wasn't just in the match. It was pretty much the ending of the match. I couldn't care less what happened in the match. It got down to Bianca Belair, Nia Jax, and Lana pretty much. And Lana didn't do a damn thing in the match. So pretty much it was down to Bianca Belair and Nia Jax just fighting. And it got to the spot in the match where they were both fighting on the outside. Lana was stood on the stairs doing nothing pretty much. And all you could see was Bianca Belair and Nia Jax fighting. The referee was counting to 10. And then it got to the spot where Bianca lifted Nia Jax into the crowd, or what would have been the crowd, in the Thunderdome, in the front row. And then just as she's about to get back in the ring, she doesn't make the 10 count. Both of them were counted out, but Lana was the sole survivor. Now, don't get me wrong. Do not misunderstand me when I say this, ladies and gents. Okay? Lana was the sole survivor. Now, I thought, don't get me wrong, I literally thought the Battle Royal thing they did when Lana won the Battle Royal, I thought that was something. This took the biscuit. Literally took the biscuit. I literally don't know what to say. But I did not like that match at all. What are they doing with Lana? Are they punishing her? Are they pushing her the weird way? I can't figure that out. She gets put through the announce table 6 weeks pretty much in a row. Gets a shot at the women's title, which we all knew she wasn't going to win. And now she's the sole survivor of the Survivor Series team, and she didn't do a damn thing. Okay, pretty much okay. Anyway, we move on. Good, otherwise we'll be here all night talking about that. But that was probably the weirdest ending to a match I've seen in a while. Then we had the Raw Tag Team titles, or the Raw Tag Team Champions versus the SmackDown Tag Team Champions and the Street Profits, and even though they're meant to be split up, the New Day, and yes, Big E was with the New Day. Meant to give Big E a big push, but then you put him back with the New Day. Best of the best. The guys on SmackDown, Raw, Kingston, and it legit didn't make any sense, but I really didn't care about that match, to be honest. It was a good tag team match. It just wasn't, having that match, it would have been best off having Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns. But they only changed, I don't know why they changed Drew McIntyre. I'm glad they did. I'm glad McIntyre's back to being WWE champion again. You probably won't have that for long. But yeah, just 2 tag teams. But you could see it was coming when they had to swap belts, when the draft came in. You knew that match was coming. Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. How could you not think Bobby Lashley was going to win? The Hurt Business teaches Sami Zayn a lesson, and apparently he's going to protest on that. And you've got Gobshite at the ringside area. Corey Graves being the mouthpiece for him pretty much. Yeah, I knew Bobby was going to win that. And then you got Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns, which was probably the best match of the whole night until the end. Because I believe, in my opinion, the ending of that match ruined it for me. My opinion. Just my opinion. All in all, it was a great match. And like I said, definitely the best match of the card in what was an average pay-per-view. But, yeah, it didn't need that ending. And I genuinely thought Jey Uso was going to come down the way he got talking to by Roman Reigns. I genuinely thought he was going to come down and kick Roman Reigns in the face. But, obviously not. And now, which is now the second-rate belt still, whether Roman has it or not, the Universal title. I don't know if I could call it the A show, to be honest with you, because we all know what the A show is, and that's NXT. Good, better. But yeah, I didn't like the ending of that match. But Roman won, liked it or not, with a little bit of help from Jey Uso. Now we get to Taker, which was the highlight of the whole show. Undertaker's farewell. And I'll tell you this right now, guys. Great seeing all them wrestlers there. The Godwins, for crying out loud, were even there, if that could be a thing. The Godwins were there. Godfather was there, because them two are real-life best mates, Taker and them. Ric Flair, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, JBL, Big Show, Shane McMahon, Savio Vega, who last time I checked was in MLW. Who else? Just a lot of people there, pretty much. But the highlight of the entrances for me, and then he realized he made the mistake because he had to correct himself, otherwise the internet would have went in on him, was when Kevin Nash came down. And Michael Cole was talking about Kevin Nash and Undertaker at WrestleMania 12 and everything. Corey Graves, being the moron that he is, and the loudmouth that he is, and supposed to be a broadcast journalist, he'll never be Bobby Heenan, by the way. Supposed to be this broadcast journalist, turned around and corrects Cole and says, no, I believe it was WrestleMania 11 or 13. And then, I believe, when Flair came out, he corrected himself and it was WrestleMania 12. WrestleMania 11 was... WrestleMania 13, he won the WWE title of Sid. WrestleMania 11, he beat King Kong Bundy, who was a part of the $1 Million Corporation at the time as well. He even made a mistake in saying that Godfather was in the Nation and him and The Undertaker had some great matches. To a point, yes, but mostly when them two worked with each other, and I'm talking about the Godfather and The Undertaker, it was going back to when Godfather was Karma. Was it Karma Mustafa in the corporation? That big MMA gimmick that they gave the Godfather before he became the Godfather. You know, Big Karma. I believe they might have had some matches with him in the Nation. I don't remember, but those are the matches that I remember fondly when he was walking around as Karma, as member of the $1 Million Corporation. Do they not acknowledge the $1 Million Corporation? I suppose not, because I guess to Vince there's only one corporation, and that's the corporation that was run by Vince, Shane, and mainly Vince, quite frankly. But come on, guys. But anyway, Corey corrected himself before the internet went in on him. And I said it was too late for that. Because the internet pretty much did go in on him. Sorry, I just got a question asked to me. There, which was a little weird. But yeah. Oh, it came across as a little weird, but anyway. But yeah, Undertaker. Where do I begin? Just probably the greatest character in the history of professional wrestling, bar none. I know all his victims at WrestleManias. Snooker at 7. Jake the Snake Roberts at 8. Giant Gonzalez at 9. Less said about that, the better. He wasn't at WrestleMania 10. WrestleMania 11 was Bundy. 12 was Kevin Nash Diesel. Sid at 13. Kane at 14. Bossman at 15. He wasn't at 16. Triple H at 17. 18 Ric Flair. 19 Big Show and A-Train, if you know it was meant to be a tag match between Undertaker and Nathan Jones versus Big Show and A-Train. 20 was Kane, again. 21 was Randy Orton. Who was 22? 22 was Mark Henry. 23 was Batista, if I remember correctly. 24 was Edge. 25, 26 was Shawn. 27, 28 was Triple H. 29 was CM Punk. 30 was his loss to Brock as well. 31, I believe, was him and... But that was the streak, anyway. That was the streak thing. 31, he beat Bray Wyatt. And nah. But I'm talking streak-wise. Nah. And I mean, his last victim was CM Punk. But that was great. And I will always have a memory of The Undertaker as well. Getting tickets to go and see SmackDown for my birthday. SmackDown house show. Getting tickets to go and see them in Newcastle. It's about an hour away from where I live. The show was mediocre for me. But the highlight of the night was seeing Chris Masters, and I believe it was Fit Finlay, if I remember correctly. Chris Masters and Fit Finlay taking on Kane and The Undertaker. And being witness to The Undertaker, his entrance, being there, him fighting. Just nothing short of phenomenal. It really was. And I'd go back a long way to watch The Undertaker, because I was watching The Undertaker before he even was The Undertaker. back when he was known as Mean Mark Callis in WCW. Go figure. I didn't even know he became the Undertaker in there, but I recognised him eventually and realised it was Mean Mark. But yeah, finally he came out, said his goodbye. A beautiful image of him and Paul Bear when he did the thing, and they had this image of him with Paul Bear. You might see this as the thumbnail, by the way. You might see that as a thumbnail, by the way, because that was amazing. But yeah, just that. I mean, what can you say, pretty much? I mean, I'm thankfully there was rumours flying around that the Fiend was going to come out and attack him, and thankfully that didn't happen. Now WWE just let him ride off into the sunset. Just let him go. The Last Ride was his goodbye. The Last Ride documentary. If you haven't seen that, get on the network and see it. Just let him go. Just let him go. He's done. It's the end of an era. 30 years. Just let him rest in peace. I don't want to see him in another match. He's even said it himself if he has to come back. But hopefully now, when he said that he was done, he meant it. Just let him go. Let him go. There will never ever be another Undertaker. That I can assure you. On that. So, all in all, besides the pay-per-view, pretty much mediocre for me. Average pay-per-view, but the highlight was The Undertaker's farewell. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of this little podcast. Full results and opinions on Survivor Series, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That was just my honest opinions on that. An honest opinion on the whole show. Pretty much average. As far as the Wrestling Matters podcast is concerned, I am bringing it back. But I think I'm going to wait until beginning of a new year. Say about the new year for me. I think that's when I'm going to bring it back. I might do a show here and there, but bringing it back full time again like I used to back in the day, I think I'm going to bring it back full time in the new year. Because this coronavirus is really kicking my you-know-what. And I've got a lot on my plate at the moment. So I think it'll be after Christmas, after New Year, that I'll be bringing the Wrestling Matters podcast back. I've had a lot of thought about it. And I've got too much on my mind at the moment. I'm doing my streaming stuff and everything. I'm building my Facebook page for the Games Matter stuff that I'm doing as well. Which is already over 1,000 followers, which is just crazy in itself. I'll be streaming on Facebook a little bit as well, besides being on Twitch, and the whole thing's crazy. But like I said, I'm setting everything up, hopefully for a new beginning in 2021. Because like I said, this COVID-19 is really kicking my ass, and I desperately just want to get everything back to normal again. You know, if I have to take this new this new thing that they're bringing out, I'll do it. I'll do whatever it takes. Just let me get back to normal, that's all I ask, because the whole thing's really kicking me in the nuts. Yeah, it's, what can you say, pretty much. What can you say? But I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you guys are not doing anything stupid. I hope to be back in the new year with the podcast. I might do certain ones here and there, but I hope to bring it back full time, and I aim to bring it back full time in the new year. I've got everything planned and how I'm going to do. And also the one thing that's kicking my brain as well is how I'm going to set it out and balance it with what I'm doing. I might just use Sundays to record the podcast like I used to do back in the day. It might have to be that as well. You know, at least I'll have the day off on that day, because that's my day off no matter what from the streaming. So we'll see what happens, guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed Survivor Series. Little bang average for me, but the highlight was saying goodbye to The Undertaker and the match of Roman Reigns, except for the ending as well. Stay safe, guys. I will be back with another podcast. I hope to be back with the podcast, and will be back with the podcast full-time in the new year, in 2021. And until then, guys, take it easy, and I hope to see you in my streams as well. Hopefully the streams will be down below in the description. Yeah, just hope to see you then. And I hope to see you guys in the new year. Peace out.